Hello, and thanks for selecting my video. I'd like to take you on a wee day out journey to Backwater Reservoir. It's basically a reservoir that feeds, well, it supplements the Reservoir. That's what Dundee gets his water from. Lintratham was done earlier. That was like the earliest or the earlier reservoirs that supplied Dundee with water, fresh drinking water. And Backwater Dam, that was done late 60s to supplement it. It doesn't just do Dundee, but it does Perth. I think it does Perth as well, Angus, all these sort of areas. But yeah, so I'm going on a trip from... I started the dash cam recording from Asda in Dundee, just so that it's a well-known place. So you could, if you don't know, this is if you don't know how to get to Backwater Reservoir, you probably know how to get to it anyway. But and starting my journey from, and starting the recordings anyway, I recorded the whole journey, the whole trip, on my dash cam, the car trip. So I started it at the Meyerkirk Asda, and it ended up at the Backwater Reservoir. That's the route that I take to get to it. So I've recorded all that for you. And once you get to Backwater Reservoir, I've got the camcorder, and I've done some videos for you and took some photos as well, which I'll put on this main video. So just sit back if you want to watch it. Come on a journey with me. Sit back, relax, get a coffee, put your feet up, and come and join us. Okay, I'll let this video carry on. Okay, thanks for selecting. Cheers. So, just get yourself comfortable, just sit back and relax, get yourself a coffee or something, and come and enjoy me on this journey to Backwater Reservoir. So I'm just gonna put my feet up as well as I'm sitting here watching the video. I'll have a wee blather with you. You can just chill out and watch the journey. So at the moment, well, that's just on the move now. We're just leaving Asda Meyerkirk. I chose Asda Meyerkirk because it's a well-known, well, it's easy to find. So it's on the main road, the A90, the Kingsway. So you would see it quite easily. Once you get to Asda, then you should. It's quite easy. It's not a far drive to get to Backwater Reservoir. This is the route I'm taking, obviously. So there's obviously lots of other ways as well, depending on what way that you're starting your journey from. But yeah, that's just heading up Meyerkirk. I'm just going to pass the go-kart place on the left. Yep, just about there. I like the go-karting. So yeah, it's a nice, quite a nice day actually for a change. It did sort of like rain a wee bit, but didn't like cloud over it. It was just spittering more than anything else. But just heading up the Bray, what's it called again? Oh gosh, Lift Road, is it? Or something like that? I can't remember. No. Yep. It's Camperdown on the right, Camperdown Park, with the big wall that surrounds it. At one time, this road used to be a national speed limit. Brought it down to 40 mile an hour. It's quite a, I mean, to think some of the roads, the speed limits on them are sort of like all over the place. Some of the roads you wouldn't even dream of doing 60 mile an hour on, and others you could safely, well, you could do it, but the limits are maybe a wee bit too slow. But this road, I wouldn't have. I think 40 is a bit right for this one. So we'll be coming up to Buck Hill shortly. So we're just about coming up to the junction at Buck Hill. It's the Buck Hill Inn, I think, in front. Yeah. Get a nice meal out of there. So I'm part of the bus club, a member of the bus restoration group, and we've had like a couple Christmas meals at that place. Yeah, quite a bit nice. So it's just heading through Buck Hill. Co-op garage on the left there. I've seen myself going in there for a few snacks and sweeties and that on some of the trips out here, and then we'll go for a drive. Yeah. So it's just basically using the dash cam to record this, and it gives you kind of like an idea what the journey is like if you've never drove it before. It's one of my favourite ones, actually. One of the ones I like going. I'm going to have to do a drive to Backwater Reservoir as well and show you that. That's Dundee's original, well, it's one of the earlier water supply reservoirs, and then Backwater Dam was built later on to supply it, to supplement it. Yeah, I might get a more expensive camera for doing more of this sort of recordings like this on the car. What I want to do is get a camera where it could fit underneath and get record the outside view, the road view, and a bit of I like this, seeing how the suspension works and all that kind of stuff. I've seen videos like that before on various, on YouTube, one of them. And I have a camera rigged up where you can see all the mechanical parts, how the suspension works, and it's quite like that. I would have to look into doing that. I'd like to do that. So it doesn't take long to get out in the countryside. It won't be long before we go through Ochterhouse. You can see the hills in the horizon there on the background. It's a lot of hills. Craigiwall. You see Lundy Crags, that's on the other side of the road on the horizon. There's actually a hill with ancient monument on it. Well, it's not like it's ancient, it's a cairn. It's quite. I went up to it, had a look at it. I climbed the hill and had a look at it. You might not see it on this angle at the moment, but that leads me to another subject, actually. So I've driven this road quite a few times, and I've done the hills and that. No, the buses, like I drive a city bus, although I have driven buses out of Dundee on other occasions for private reasons, like bus club and rallies and stuff like that. But my job's driver in the city centre. But I drive this road a lot in my car to go out for various things, days out and etc. And I've seen the hills a lot. And I've never noticed this cairn before until recently. I mean, I could see these hills from my bedroom window as well. And it was just like, you know, I've lived in this house for the same house here for 40 years. 40 years, so I know what the horizon looks like. And this monument just sort of, it appeared. No, it's not like it was put there recently, because I went up to it and I went up to it and have a good look at it. And it looks as though it's been there for a very long time. And there isn't any trees that were blocking the view that had been cut down and suddenly you could see it. It's nothing like that. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it was never there before. So you're probably wondering, well, what am I on about? Well, I don't know, if you've maybe seen my other videos and that, let me just try to point out if you can see it. I'm just looking through this cam and hoping that this voice recording will be in sync with the video. So right in front of you, if it is, hopefully, you'll see a hill, and at the top of it you might just faintly make out a cairn. So you go just before you're coming out of Octoroos. You've got is it the pear tree? I think pear tree on there. That's like an off-road centre, like where you do 4x4s, quads. I've been there, that's nice. Well, it's the hill opposite on the opposite side of the road to that, west of that. There's the hill, that monument I'm talking about. There's cairn. But yeah, where was it before? But yeah, the Mandela effect. Well, I've kind of said it now. Hold on a second, just bear with me a minute. Yeah, I was just checking making sure the audio was in synchronisation with the video. Yeah, Mandela effect. Well, first of all, what I would say is this: if you're interested in the phenomena called the Mandela effect, well, I would suggest do your own research on it, and come to your own conclusions. That's really the only way, unless you experience it, which, well, you see, they called it the Mandela. I didn't call the phenomena the Mandela effect. It's just widely known as the Mandela effect. So if you go online and type in the Mandela effect, right, you'll find out a ton of stuff. It's a widely known subject now, and it's fascinating. I mean, even before I came across the phenomena called the Mandela effect online, I experienced the phenomena before that, myself personally. So I knew there was something. I didn't know that it was going to be this phenomena that's, well, mimicking or like the phenomena that I experienced before. I didn't know that there was such a thing called the Mandela effect until recently, but I knew the effects of it, or similar effects. I had my own personal experiences with that before I came across and done my own research on it. But I had my own experiences with it. And it's something, you know, it's kind of like, there's lots of theories on it. They say there is one theory, a widely a popular one, is that we're living in ultimate multi-universes, or multi-dimensions, where we are consciousness. Obviously, that's because that's what we are, consciousness in a body. We're consciousness, which has always been around, always has, always will, because we are everything. We are consciousness. So at the moment we're obviously living in the 5 sense reality, and a 5 sense body. That's what we're in, 5 senses. But that's not what we are. We are more than that. So we are everything. We are unlimited. The body just limits us down to the 5 senses, and we believe that we can't do any more than that, because we're just limited with the 5 senses. But we are consciousness. So the theory is that, well, a popular theory is that we're moving consciousness from, we're not moving, but our consciousness is moving from this dimension, if you like, to a different dimension that's in a similar, are very similar to the one that we're experiencing now. So it's just like, hang on, we're just coming into Newtown. What I'm going to do is just make this bear with me a minute and just pausing it to make sure I've got a reference to go on when I sync this video up. So we're just coming into Newtown, so bear with me a minute. Yeah, I was just checking the synchronisation with the times and that. Yeah, we're just going through Newtown. And I remember Newtown. I used to go, the fields on the left there, I used to go berry picking in the early 90s. With raspberry fields. I mean, I actually went to the berries not for the reason for most people. I mean, I went berry picking. I picked for the, picked berries to get some pocket money, if you like. But the main reason I went is to get on the old buses. See, I've always been a bus enthusiast ever since I was a kid, and they used to use an old Dundee bus, and I went to the berries just to get on the old buses now. Yeah, so that was going back a bit, early 90s. But you don't get berry picking now. It's done differently. I think they get people from abroad, don't they? And do the berry picking. It's not like how it used to be anyway. But yeah, where was it? Yeah, that. It's coming on this corner here, isn't it? The Bell Rock. The Bell Rock's on the right hand side. I'm getting in there for a meal and that. Yeah, so we're just crossing this bridge. I'm not far from Meagle. What was I talking about before? Mandela effect, that's right. Consciousness, well, see, it's a popular theory that it comes up a lot when I've done research online about into the Mandela effect phenomena, that we're sort of shifting dimensions, our consciousness is shifting dimensions, and we're experiencing the changes. So in the dimension that we're in now, it is what we see. So if we shift to another dimension, things are virtually identical with small differences. Well, these small differences are being picked up, being recognised, being noticed by those that they call the Mandela effect, those that experience the Mandela effect. They're just, there's they call. Online, I've noticed that they use the terms like Mandela effect community, Mandela affected, unaffected, all that stuff, categorising things. You see, I'm not really one for doing that. I don't like categorising because it puts it puts limits on it. It's difficult to explain. I'm not really wanting to think that I'm not going to say for anyone, I can't say for others, but I've noticed that it's been said that Mandela effect community, which seems like it's suggesting that people that experience the Mandela effect are in we're sort of like, they categorise us as part of the Mandela effect community, and those that don't are the unaffected. You see, I'm not really one for that, because I don't believe that, well, for one, I'm not saying that anybody's suggesting that they're better than anybody. And I'm not saying that anybody is saying that, and I'm not saying that. So if those that don't claim not to, or believe that they're not experiencing the Mandela effect, well, that's what they're experiencing. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that I think that everybody could experience the Mandela effect. It's just on how that they understand it, how they experience it. So we're just turning on this junction here, and it's not far from Ailith, so we're on the road. But yeah, where was it? Yeah. So I mean, I could go on about this for ages. There's other things as well that I find really fascinating, interesting. I mean, Mandela effect, in a nutshell, I don't think you could define it. You know, they have theories, but once you give someone a theory, then it's kind of like putting a limit, a law on it that it's not really. To be honest, me personally, I don't know what's going on, but I do know for a fact, because I've experienced something that is what is called, what I've found online to be called the Mandela effect, that phenomenon. I call it the phenomenon. I didn't name it the Mandela effect, but I've definitely experienced my own first-hand experiences of it. You see, you can get stuff online that'll put ideas, you know, it's not like I've got something offline and got the idea in my head and sort of going along with it. No, I've experienced it first-hand, even before I've come across the phenomenon. But this is, see, I'm a believer in what they call the supernatural, and the reason I'm believing it is not because it's like, I'm being taught it and I believe it. It's because I've experienced it first-hand. And what I'm saying is that I believe that we can all, and I believe that we are all experiencing it, but just maybe not recognising it. Some of us might not be ready to. It's not being recognised because it's not time to understand it. But I believe that we're all capable, because we're all equal, because we're all one, you see. We're all consciousness, we're all one. But this subject's massive anyway, it's a really fascinating subject. But the other things, I mean, you've got like, so I believe in the supernatural. There's so many coincidences that has been happening. It's really more than a coincidence, I feel, because it's more like synchronicity. It's just happening too often. I mean, there's so many examples. I could be here for ages explaining them, but the classic ones are I'm just going to phone somebody about something, but then they've just beat me to it, and it's completely unrelated. It's just out of the blue. That happens a lot. I think like there's such a thing as like event cells, where things are happening. Like you could maybe look on it like a machine. If one thing happens somewhere that's got a knock-on effect, everything works together. Again, I don't like defining things, but it's like using languages, isn't it? You've got to try and get. Languages don't really give you a full picture, by the way. They just give you the idea in your head, and you've got to then just decide what to make of it. And that could be anything from completely different to what's been relayed in the first place. Yeah, eventually, it's just like there's so many things that happen that if you're part of you don't see the full picture, so you don't really know what's going on. You'll see parts of it, of the picture. So when one thing happens, you get the feeling that something else is going to happen. But that's because it could be connected. So it's like everything is working as one. But when you're part of the picture, you don't see it all. So you just see random things. And then if you're more sensitive to seeing these things, then you could sort of predict or not predict, but synchronicity, you could sort of have inclinations, feelings what's going to happen. But Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go back. It's like, I was thinking of a song in my head, right? I was going on, I was thinking of it. You know, you get a song, you hear it, you keep thinking of it. Well, I had one in my head, and totally unrelated, I put a video on YouTube. It was, surprise, it was a Mandela effect research. I was researching it, I was watching a video about it. And the subject, the song that I was thinking in my head, came up. So, there you go. That's just completely, that's just one example. It's just more and more of this is happening. And you see, like, we live our lives, we do things, like, it seems as though we do things randomly. Wait a minute, I'm just coming to the junction now, I'm just doing another sync, just going to bear with me a minute. I've just got to try and sync this up here. So yeah, we're turning right here. So, just a second. Yeah, turning right here. Right. It's just to help me synchronise this video. So yeah, but yeah, like things that we do in my life, you know, I always wondered what life's about, what we're doing, what exactly is the meaning of it all. And we get up, we just do things, but we don't see the full picture. It's like we just do things randomly. You know, why would we want to do this? Why do we take this particular route? It's why would we want to make those decisions, etc. You know, it's just like we don't see the complete full picture as to where it's leading to, where we've come from, where we're going. We just don't know where we're headed. Well, at least we don't believe we do anyway. But we just, you know, if I was to ask you and say, well, what's the meaning of life? Where did we come from? There's lots of historical records. Well, you know, history is one thing, isn't it? But talking about where is everything going? Where are we going? What happens after here? All the rest of it. Why did we choose to do what we do now? I think it's all like, it's all connected. Every single thing is important. Every single thing's got a meaning. Everything. Even the bugs on the windscreen. Everything. Even every bit of grain of sand, dust, blade of grass. Every atom, everything means something. Everything. There's a meaning for all of it. But we just don't really, well, we believe that we can't comprehend all that, and we just shortcut it. We just kind of like, you know, you're looking at this video and you're looking at the road, right, and the surrounding area. But as it's whizzing along there, you could see all the distance in the background there. But have you actually looked at all the blades of grass that we've passed, every single leaf on the tree, every single stone on it, everything? Every cloud shape, every angle, everything. But we pick it up. We do look at that. We do notice it. When we're going about our business every day, do we check every single grain of, every bit of everything? Well, we do, but we just don't pick it up. We don't consciously recognise it, but we do subconsciously pick every single thing. We hear every single thing that we could hear, all the senses we've got. It goes in, it feeds into our brain, but just it's subliminally, subconsciously. But we only act on some of it. So we're not getting like the full picture. Well, we are getting the full picture, but we're only deciphering some of it. Stuck behind this tractor. Actually, that tractor was going pretty quick. It was doing probably about 40. I've seen myself being stuck behind the tractors doing about 20. You just got to hold back, Just got to be patient with them. You can't really pass them on the road like that. It's too narrow. I mean, that's quite a big tractor, that, but no, he was actually motoring along pretty quick for a tractor. Some of these tractors are amazing, look, and I've went to the events, the tractor pulling events, and geez, some of them, They soup them right up in the power. Oh, I'll let you show you videos on that. But, yeah, where was it? No, I forgot. What was it? Yeah, subconscious about. So like, but we're just kind of like focused on the things that we do, but which are important. Obviously, everything's important. Every single thing is important. But when we get to when we're ready, we understand more. I mean, the Mandela effect. It definitely says that there's a lot more to what's going on, to what meets the eye, if you like. But it's like this. I mean, you think, if I was to ask, what is a paradox? What's the answer to the? So, like, what's the highest number you can think of, or where does the circle end? Where's the end of a circle? What's the highest number you can think of? What's the smallest particle you can think of? You know, how small could you break something down? I mean, you've got the physics that will say you can go down to the quantum level, subatomic levels. But what's before that? And what's before that? And then what's bigger? And what's further on? I mean, you've got the scientific theories or astronomy that says that the universe is expanding, etc. But what's ahead of that? What's ahead of that? Where did it come from? Where's it going? Because you could always think one ahead. In fact, you think more than you could think infinitely ahead. But you can't decipher it. You just can't put a definition to it. I mean, it's like trying to find the end of a circle. Where's that? Where's the end of a circle? But it's like at this stage we can't comprehend it because we're not. Probably not ready. Possibly for that yet. But we do it. We know the answers because we are everything. Because we're conscious, we are the answers and the solutions and the questions. We're everything, but we're only filtered into the 5 sense reality. We're limited basically to 5 senses. I mean, for example, you wouldn't think you could go up on the top of a multi-story building and jump off and survive it, or jump off and fly it. You don't believe you could do that. If you did that, you'd fall. You believe that you would fall down and get splattered on the ground. That's what you believe would happen. But have you tried it? I'm not going to suggest do that. No, forget that. But what I'm trying to say is, if I says, well, could you run the speed of a bullet train? You don't believe. You don't believe you could do it. If I says, could you lift up 20 tons? Bench press 20 ton, well, you don't think you could do it. Could you fly? Could you jump off a multi and fly? Well, you don't believe you could do these things. You believe that you're limited. Oh, I missed that turn in there, I should have said, but we're turning. See that road where I just turned left there? If you continue going straight up, that would take you to Lintratham. We're past Peel Farm on the right hand side, by the way. But I'll do that in another video. But yeah, we're saying, well, we believe that we're limited, but that's what we're locked in a situation where we believe we're limited. But I admit that. I mean, I'm not going to suggest anything like that to do any. No, don't even dream of it. But it seems completely mad to think that you could lift 20 tons, you could run 100 mile an hour, but you could jump off a skyscraper and survive, or jump off a skyscraper and grow wings and fly. It would seem completely nuts to think that. But that's my point. We don't believe. If you knew how to do it, then we don't believe that we could do. In other words, we could do everything we want. I believe we could do everything that we want, but we're limited. We're put into a restriction where we're only limited to 5 senses. Because we're consciousness and we could do everything. But we've got to ask ourselves, well, why do we want to do everything? Why do we want to do these actions? Why would we want to lift 20 tons? Why would we want to grow a pair of wings and, we could fly? Why would we want to do that? what's it going to take us to? That's the things that we don't ask. Well, we do, but it's like, do we think that far ahead? You know, we work in a small part of the picture. I mean, like this when driving along this road here, we can only see the horizon. But there's a lot more to that, isn't there? But we're only focused in one part of the picture, so we don't get the full picture at this stage because we're only at this small limit. But there's another thing. I mean, this happens a lot as well. Lately, fairly lately. So I'm in my bed just before I wake up. I'll rephrase that. Just before I wake up, just before the alarm goes off, right? So I've set my alarm for, say, 4:30 in the morning, or even, 4:30 in the morning, right? I set my alarm for 4:30. I've seen myself wake up, I'm not kidding, at 4:29. Right? Like that. A minute before the alarm goes off. Maybe 2 as well. Like that. And that's happened a lot more. That is incredible. I mean, it doesn't, not on the same time either. It could be on other times. Like if I set my alarm for 10 o'clock. I mean, I work shifts. I mean, I finish on a late shift. I might not get in my bed. I don't go home. When you've been driving the bus a day, it's not as easy just to finish my shift and go straight to bed. Even on a late shift, no, you take time to unwind. So I've seen myself go to bed after 2 o'clock in the morning and then set an alarm for 10 o'clock. Excuse me a minute. So I've set my alarm for like different times as well. And this has happened on those occasions also. So I don't know how that works, but I find it pretty fascinating. Quite amazing that. I think we're coming up for the crossroads here. So this is really like the last part of the car journey anyway. So once the car journey bit of the video is done, then you'll get the camcordered footage. I could talk about this stuff for ages. I really have been fascinated in it ever since. I've always been fascinated in supernatural stuff. But it's not that I'm biased because I've been interested in it since as far back as I can remember. As I genuinely experienced them firsthand. And so it's like I say, the Mandela effect. I really strongly suggest, if you are interested, to do your own research on it and come to your own conclusions. Otherwise, it's, if I believe it, you should really, it's up to the individual what they do with it. Like relaying it over to say that this is something, and hearing it from someone else is one thing. But to experience it and make your own experiences it is another. That's the ones that will be like anchored into you. That'll be your experience and what you're meant to experience. Interesting stories to hear from others, definitely. Inspiring, yeah, definitely. But it's really up to the individual to make what they want of it, make what they like of it. That's kind of like that. But yeah, it's fascinating subject. So we're not far from the dam now. What I do on this video is I continue driving over to the end, near enough the end of the loch. So we're passing car park, coming up to the Backwater Dam. Now I've seen this view a few times now, and you see like the trees, you'll probably hear me mention it later on in the camcorder footage, but the trees, if I've known about this dam for a wee while, quite a few years now, quite a few years. And when I had first came across this place, that hill I would have been exploring. I would have climbed that hill. The hill you're looking at now, right in front of you. Well, that there is open. You could do that now. But what I'm saying is that there was trees there originally. But I'm not saying that they were cut down. Although, yeah, there's trees that have been cut down, but there was never any evidence of ever any trees being there. But I can assure you there were. Because I would have climbed and explored that hill much, much sooner than just recently when I discovered that the trees had moved. I'm talking about Mandela effect phenomena here. And that's a personal experience one. That's one that I've experienced. I'm not saying that nobody else has, but I haven't come across anything online about that one yet. But that doesn't mean that nobody else has experienced it. But I can assure you I have experienced that one. I've experienced lots of Mandela effects. I could talk for ages about it. Fascinating subject. But this loch, Backwater Dam, the route, you could walk round the loch. The way I went clockwise round it. On the other side, there's a track. And you could walk about 3 miles of it, and then you get to the end where they come to like a field, and then some woods, like a thin forest, a small woodlands bit. You'd have to cross through that also, and then you've got to wade through the river. There's a small river, obviously, that feeds the loch, but it's doable. You could get through it. I mean, I could get through it. I guess I was able to leap across. So, I could get, if you've got like hiking boots on and waterproof leggings, and you could afford to sort of like step in the water. It's only ankle deep at some points, but most of it I could just leap across. I used a few step stones. But one thing what not to do is when you get to it, don't think about it too long, because you'll never do it. Just go for it. Just leap across and go for it. But just be careful you don't slip and fall, obviously. But that's what I done. I just sort of, I've seen myself thinking about it, and it just take ages and ages. Then I went up and down the river to try and find a crossing. And I ended up just going back to the first one I came in, because I thought about it that much, and then just had to end up doing it. Now, if I'd just done that in the first place, then it would have been a lot quicker and easier. I know I could do it, so I just went for it, done it, got across. But once you get across the river, then you climb up, you've got a couple, 2 or 3 fences to climb. You know, like the sort of size of fences you can see on each side of this road here. There's bad wire, which is a pain. But then you've got some grassy fields to cross up, to walk up. And then you get to the other side, this side of the road. You get to, the farm as well. You just cross through there, and then walk back along this road. And then you end up back to the dam. And it's about 7 miles, 7.5 mile round trip. That's the way I done it anyway. I walked that way. I don't think there's really any much other ways you can do it, to be honest. But yeah, it's quite a nice. So it's just a wee bit challenging at the far end of the loch, because you've got the woods is easy to get through. There's a wood, like a Land Rover track that goes through it. It's not much of a wood. You could be in and out of it in 5 minutes, less, 3 minutes. And I say the river bit's probably the hardest bit, because you've got to wade through. You've just got to sort of get across that. And once you get across that, there's a wee bit of marsh sort of ground as well. Well, here we are. Right, I'm going to stop this recording and let the camcorder footage do. So, hope you enjoyed that little journey, and I'll let you watch the rest of the video. Okay, cheers. Right, so that's us driven up to the Backwater Dam Reservoir, and as you saw on the dash cam, I recorded the whole journey from the also.I to the picnic area at the end of the loch. Well, it's not quite at the end, but it's not far off it. So the whole trip took, it was 23 point, oh, so I'll get the miles, I won't until I get my keys. I'll get the miles for you and the time it took to get there. So I'll just get the kilometre. Yeah, 23.7 miles from Asda to where I am now, which is at the picnic area. And the journey time was just about 40 minutes, just under 39 minutes. So that's just to give you an idea. So I'm going to turn the camera around. It's quite breezy, so hopefully you can hear us with the wind, and I'll get you the footage of this end of the loch. Once I've done the footage here, I'll drive to where the dam is, and then I'll get the footage there as well. I'll get out the car and I'll video it for you and photograph it. Okay? So I'll just... Right, that's me at the car now. I'm just going to walk around, well, I'm not going to walk around the whole loch, but I'm just going to get a few videos of just around about the picnic area and that, in the loch. So it's a nice place to come to relax. The walk around the loch is quite a trek. I've done it before, but it's a bit of a challenge at times because from where from where I started at the dam end, down at the end I came in. So I walked along the road, right up to the end there, through the forest. There's a bit of a forest, and you've got to cross the burn, well not the burn, but the small river that feeds this loch. That's quite a challenge. It's a bit of you've got to step over it, use stepping stones and stuff. And you've got a few fences to climb, and then you eventually come up to the farm, which is at the end of the road here. Climb a couple of fences to get back on the road, which eventually there's a circuit right the way back to the start. It's about 7 miles distance. The easy part is the track. There's track all the way there. It's just difficult when you get to the... You won't see it, but I'll show you when I turn the camera around. Like there's a bit of a forest. Not a forest, but woodlands area. You might... Yeah, just at the end there's a bit of a woodlands. You've got to go through there, and then the river that feeds this loch, you've just got this. No, it's about the width of this, probably half the width of the road that I know, but it's kind of like deep, knee deep. You could wade through it if you had wellies or whatever, but so yeah, you could walk around it. I've done that, it's quite good. So I'm going to get this thing turned around and I'll show you some of the footage here, and later on I'll drive back down to the actual dam and I'll show you footage here. So I'll turn this around for now, okay? As I say, it's quite breezy, so I just hope the wind isn't too much of a problem for the sound. Just say, just parked there, a few spaces down a bit there as well, picnic table, etc. So that'll be looking north, and as I say, the farm that I was talking about is, I'm trying to zoom in, right there, you're coming to that, that's where the end, that's basically where this road ends. The road that stopped there, I came in from that end, that's the south end, and the road just goes up and ends at that farm. It's just about another mile, as you can see, it's not far, just comes to the farm, that's all. And that's the end of the Backwater Reservoir. So that track, as I say, I was talking about, I mentioned earlier, it's on the other side of the loch. It's not a road, it's just a track, an off-road track, and it goes right the way to the end there. And there's just these woods you've got to go through, and then the river that feeds this loch, you've just got to wade through that somehow. I managed it. It's a bit of a, you know, if you've got boots on and waterproof, you could kind of, it's about ankle deep, knee deep at certain places, but the bits of Joe's were kind of like was able to get through. I just leaped through and I got across. So basically, once you get across that river, you're going up the fields, crossing a few of these fences right in the distance, and you come out of that farm, and then you just walk right way back to this start. I was about to say 7.5 mile circuit. So that's what it's like at this end of the loch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back into the car and then drive down to the, it's about what, maybe two, not even that, about 3 miles, 2.5 mile maybe, back down to the, where the actual dam is. This is just the road. It's just a dead end. It's just reached to that farm basically. Okay, so I'm just going to head to the dam now. Okay. Right, now that's me at the other end of the loch. So I've driven back to the dam. This is the way I came in, and earlier was up there. That's where the dam ends, the loch ends. Sorry, the Backwater Dam Reservoir ends. So I'll be going down that road as well, and I'll get the camera footage, videos and that down there also. Try to get this in focus. You can see that. You can maybe just make out the valve house pumping station. I'll go down there as well, get footage, videos. And you'll see the valve house there. So what I'm going to do is I'll barrel this camera around and I'll start filming for you. Okay. Right, that's the camera turned now. I'll get the videos and that for you here. So that's the valve house there. This loch, by the way, this Backwater Dam Reservoir, Backwater Reservoir Dam, this supplies Dundee with its water. It supplements the old loch, the first one, the first reservoir, Thankyou Reservoir. And this one was built later to help supplement it. I think it was 68 or something this was opened. There's an information plaque. As I say, I'll be going down there in a moment and I'll get pictures of that plaque for you. But yeah, this supplies Dundee with its water, drinking water. Dundee, Perth and Kinross as well, I think, also. And Angus and Sure, but it certainly does contribute towards Dundee, and it supplements the Thankyou Reservoir, which on another day I'll do a video on that one. Yeah, you get some really nice views here. You can walk right up that hill and get views over it towards Angus, etc. It's really good. Right, I'm going to get my hiking boots on and I'm going to go down to this pumping station and I'll take pictures for you there as well, videos. Right, I'm going to get my boots on. Right, so I'm just going to start making my way down now to this pumping station, or a sort of like partial pumping station anyway. It's not the main one, but yeah, it was just an interesting point I was going to make here while I'm heading down the garden. These trees, this hill here, if you've watched back on my further videos you may have heard me speak about the phenomena called the Mandela effect. It's a long story, but to cut a long story short, first of all do your own research into it, and then you can make your own mind up. But in a nutshell, it's like, just to cut a long story short, this is maybe not what it is, but if you refer to like history changing, well, I could pretty much guarantee you that one time, not that long ago, all that was, these woods used to stretch over there, and I wasn't able to access that hill. But now, as you can see, there's nothing there that's able to access. Now, I knew about this area for quite some time, and I would have clocked that before, but because of the Mandela effect, you know, it's changed now. So, but you could look back at my other videos if you want to hear me talk about the Mandela, my experiences, my personal experiences of the Mandela effect, the ones I experienced, and you'll go back on my YouTube channel. If you are interested, as I say, you could do your own research. Well, I suggest anyway that you do, if you are interested, do your own research into the phenomenon. And it's a fascinating phenomenon, I find anyway. But yeah, just in a nutshell, it's like, you could, if you want to call it like a supernatural phenomenon, where the actual, well, you could say like history's changed in that respect. But it's a bit out of context with this video, so I'm not going to go on about that in this video. Like I say, if you're interested, you could do your research on that yourself and come to your own conclusions on that. What you decide, what you want to make of it. But all I can say is I've experienced the phenomena. I didn't call it the Mandela effect, but I know the phenomena I've experienced. So, but anyway, off that subject for now, and on to the subject of this video, the Backwater Reservoir. You can see I've just come down the embankment. I've got good footwear, Zamberlin hiking boots. That's what I'm wearing, and it's a good idea to have them on if it's slippery and wet, and you know, you want to make good footwear. So I'm just going to stop this video for now. I'm going to pause it. That's a bit abrupt there in the middle of a sentence. I paused it. I was going to say I'm going to pause this video for now and wait till I get down there, but I kind of like paused it halfway through a sentence. So, right, so I'll film it when I get there, okay? Just to save on memory and save time as well. It's basically just walking from there down to the valve house. Okay. Right, that's just down at the valve house. I just came from up there, I came from down that way and just walked down to here. That's the way in that I came up there. I'll probably just walk up there and show you what it's like at the other side of the dam. At the moment I just parked up there, that's the far end, and it runs along there. That's the end where the like your information board is, etc. So I'll walk up to that rather than instead of walking back and driving, I'll just do the video and walk up there. So I'll start filming this area for you. I mean, this all, I've seen this when it's been water, you know, fill up, not right up to here, not up to this level, but I've seen it kind of above that wall. It varies the depth of the water depending on obviously the amount of rain and the demand, etc. But potentially it could reach where I'm standing. I mean, that's why these this wall is at the height that it is. So you got these various sort of inspection houses on the way up there. Or at least I presume that's what they are, valve inspection hatches or something. Or so that's what it's like down here. So I'm going to just make my way up to this, up there, which is the other end. That's the end that you would come into while you're driving off the main road. You come in that way, and just say part there. So I'm not going to walk up, I'm just going to just go up there, and then I'll start videoing up that side for you. Okay. Actually, before I go up to the other side, I just noticed something. One of the inspection huts up there is open, one of the doors are open. You could just make it up there. So I'm going to go up there and film it for you. And then after that I'm going to head up to the other side. Okay, so I'll just burrow it in and film for you, okay? Right, so I'll just make my way up to this. It's full of mouldy water, algae, but that's really what there is in here. This door was just left open, looks like it's been neglected kinda. And it just blends in with the grass. As you can see, it's flush. Get right onto there. There's another two up there. Right, so I'm going to head up there now, okay? Okay, right, and at the other end now. So that's the main sort of visitor car park there. That's the road that I came in. And I basically just drove all the way up to the other end of the loch. But I was on about that cycle trip that I'd done. Well, not the cycle trip, actually it was a circular walk around the loch. Although I did have my bike up along that track. But I'll just point it out to you. It's basically, you would walk up that track there. You're not allowed to drive up there, it's a private road, but you could walk up and you just walk right as far as it goes till you get to the end, basically where the woods are, and that's where it would just circulate right the way around back to across the dam and back to here. See, it's about 7 miles. So got some videos, I'll just show you. You can see that. That's the overflow. I've seen the water cascading down there when it's been like, you know, heavy rain and whatnot. It's quite nice to see. It's quite spectacular. It just basically just flows down there and down to the that building down there, the pumping station. So I'll get this turned around and I'll start filming this area for you as well. We get the pictures for you, okay? Right, so I've got the video footage now. Just to say that basically the water just comes down there under the wee bridge there, right down by the channel into the pump station, or sub pump. It's not a major one, but it's be like a big valve house or something like that anyway, but that's a valve house there as well. So, regarding that Mandela effect thing I was talking about, there was trees, all that there, these trees there that you can maybe see in the distance, all that was on that hill face. So I mean, it was only until very recently that I noticed they were not there. It's not that they've been cut down or anything, although there is trees that have been cut down. It's nothing to do with that. There's never been any evidence of our trees ever being there in that time. But like I say, that's the Mandela effect phenomena. You do your research on that, then you'll know what actually went on about. It's difficult to follow if you don't get a sort of a base understanding as to what it means, but I'll save that for another video. I'll just keep this for the... Just checking the battery there. It's quite a drop, that. Say about 40 foot, I would reckon, 40 foot from there. I've never seen it ever filled that much, but as I say, I've just seen the water cascading down. It's quite a spectacular sight when it does that. And there's like picnic benches, tables just up there. You can just see that. So that's a boathouse up there. See, that's just a private road, but you're allowed to walk up it, and it's a good walk. But when I cycled, I took my bike. I didn't cycle along the loch, obviously, I couldn't get it across. But you could cycle along. It's just like a track, about 3 miles, 3.5 miles, something like that. You get to the woodlands, you know, sort of similar to that. Not a forest as such, but kind of like, you know, it's a mini forest. And I took a picture of this for you, so if you wanted to freeze the pause it, you know, and you might not get it on this, but on the stills, the slideshow that I get, you could pause it, you'll be able to read the October '69. Written by the Queen. It's a supplement to the Backwater Reservoir. It's just there's toilets as well, just up the end there. They're not always open, unfortunately, but there is official toilets there anyway. So like I say, I just walked earlier on, I just walked down this embankment, and then I came up this side, and then parked over there. And as you would have saw on the dash cam, I would have just drove on right across, and then followed the route right to the end, more or less. You see, it's just a dead end, it just comes to the farm. You know, it's to do with supply and demand, I guess, depending on, you know, if you're going to get water. You know, obviously vary depending on the demand, etc. And obviously the rainfall catch and various factors like that. But I've seen that loch frozen up in the winter, and it's quite a sight. It's quite eerie sometimes as well, when it's the ice kind of makes a groaning sound, a moaning sound when it's thawing, you know, the thermal expansion and that, you get a kind of noise. It's quite an eerie sound, but I don't think for sure it wouldn't be anything like as eerie as if you fell through it. You never ever go in the ice, like, you know, you fall through that, you're history. But yeah, it's been fresh water, obviously it'll freeze with it. Right. Okay. Right, so that just about does it for me for the day. I'm just going to walk back up back to the end part, just a short walk up there, and I'll get this video made into a main video. So hope you've enjoyed it. It's quite easy to get to. I'll give you the full introduction in that once I've got this all compiled up. Okay. Right, so hope you've enjoyed that wee outing. Yeah, it's a nice place here. Good to go to chill out and picnics and that, and you know, it's good in the winter as well. It's quite nice when you see the loch, or you know, sometimes if it's really cold, you can see the whole loch frozen over. But never ever go on it. Don't ever be tempted to go on it or skate or whatever. Don't go on it. When it's frozen, don't. But yeah, it's nice, picturesque. And, so, hope you enjoyed that. I'll be getting a video made up some point. The Lintratham one, I'll get that done. Various other places as well, like. But thanks for watching, okay? Cheers, bye.